I hit rock bottom.
Diddy never could have imagined that he would end up in a jail like the one he's currently being held in. There have been many reports about the kind of life that he is adjusting to behind bars, and it couldn't be any further from the luxurious life that he'd gotten so used to. Now, leaked footage has reportedly shown the dangerous and rundown confinement that he's stuck in, and you're not going to believe the horrific conditions that he is living in these days. When he was arrested in September 2024, Diddy was taken to New York's Metropolitan Detention Center, which is more commonly known as MDC Brooklyn. After the Bureau of Prisons closed the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan in 2021, the facility became the only federal jail in the city. And yes, all jails are supposed to be horrible places, but this one honestly sounds like it's much worse than your average prison. MDC Brooklyn was opened in the 1990s, and pretty much since then, it's been bombarded with complaints about how inhumane the conditions are for the detainees there. The NPR report revealed that the conditions there were so awful that some judges actually refused to send people there. It's seriously scary how much violence goes on behind its walls. The inmates have been complaining about it for years. They say that they usually fear for their safety, and there are regular lockdowns because of how bad things can sometimes get. This is why it has a reputation for being an extremely dangerous place for the men behind bars inside it. It's been said that Diddy's life could even be at risk there, which might be the reason why he is being kept in a specific part of the jail. According to TMZ, Cameron Lindsay, a warden who used to work at MDC Brooklyn, said that Diddy was put in the facility's special housing unit, or SHU, because he's a celebrity. He told the outlet that since he is a famous rapper and has all these terrible accusations against him, he would probably be targeted by other inmates. So, for the sake of his own safety, it was necessary for him to be separated from the jail's general population. Cameron claimed that some of the other inmates in there could see it as a badge of honor if they ended Diddy's life. So what exactly does Diddy's day-to-day life look like in this notoriously nasty jail? Well, it's definitely worlds away from the one he was living before, which was filled with limousines, parties, and mansions. The ex-warden told TMZ that Diddy would have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He'd then be expected to make his bed and mop the floor. Inmates are reportedly allowed to only take 3 showers a week, and they get an hour of rec time every day. You'll never guess the kind of diet that Diddy had to adjust to. E! News reported that a few weeks after the rap mogul was arrested, his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, told the press, "I think the food's probably the roughest part of it." The New York Post got a hold of MDC's food menu, which has helped paint a picture of the kind of options that Diddy has to eat there. The inmates get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which all add up to about 1,800 calories per day. The outlet claimed that Diddy's first meal at the facility was Swedish meatballs with available sides to choose from that included green beans, egg noodles, or a garden salad with dressing. On paper, this doesn't sound that bad, but I guess for someone who was used to eating things like the world's best sushi and steak whenever they wanted, it was probably a big change for Diddy. Newsweek wrote about how another menu by the Federal Bureau of Prisons revealed the kind of meals Diddy can expect to have in 2025. Next year, his lunch might include items like pizza, baked chicken, beef tacos, scrambled eggs, and hamburgers. Since he is being held in the SHU, the staff brings his meals directly to his cell. But there's a downside to him getting to have some privacy while he eats, because the food is made in advance and kept in a warming box until it's delivered to him. So I guess he doesn't end up with the warmest or freshest meals. TMZ reported that Diddy probably also has access to a commissary where he can buy things like coffee, tea, snacks, and candy. There are apparently objects and items that he can buy there too, such as clothes, accessories, MP3 players, and radios. The Daily Mail released a piece on how Diddy's mental health has been since he got locked up. It was reported that he was feeling sad and lonely. One of the outlets, the Trial of Diddy podcast episodes, prison excerpt Larry Levine shared that the jailed rapper was getting visits from a psych team on a daily basis. They were monitoring his mental health. Larry explained that they weren't necessarily worried about him taking his own life, but an insider told him that someone was checking up on Diddy multiple times a day. He said he's got somebody from the psychology department coming out to visit with him, so it's like a game that they play with the inmates. Larry also made a pretty wild allegation about Diddy's life behind bars. According to a few of his sources, the celebrity inmate was getting privileges that other inmates weren't, like getting to have extra showers during the week. On the podcast, Larry also said something similar to what Cameron, the warden, predicted about how Diddy would probably be a target amongst the other detainees, especially because of the allegations that he reportedly harmed minors. TMZ got in touch with the lawyer of another rapper named Casanova, who was also held in MDC Brooklyn at one time. The attorney suggested that since Diddy was in the SHU, he probably wouldn't be permitted to have a lot of time at the library there, and phone time would be very limited too. He added that it was more difficult to have visitors if you were in the SHU because it took such a long time for anyone visiting to get there, so there wouldn't be much time left over for the visit. So Diddy might not be seeing much of his family while he's locked up. After the fallen mogul was arrested, his attorneys did what they could to try to get him bail, but prosecutors made the argument that he posed a serious flight risk. Variety reported that the judge ended up denying the bail request, but Diddy's lawyers didn't give up. A day later, they proposed an updated bail package. According to the Jasmine brand, the package included a $50 million bond, the equity of both his and his mother's home in Miami, and his passport, as well as 5 other family members' passport. On top of that, Diddy reportedly promised that the security company he used to log visitors to his mansion in Miami would give the government a daily report of all his guests. No one else would be allowed in except family members, property caretakers, and friends who were not considered to be co-conspirators in the federal indictment. The proposal also highlighted that no women would be permitted in his home except for family members and the mothers of his kids. But even with the updated package, a second judge denied his bail, reportedly because they did not want to run the risk that he might tamper with witnesses. More recently, Diddy's legal team tried to get him bail again. The Guardian wrote that he was denied for a third time because, once again, the judge considered him a serious risk for witness tampering. Prosecutors accused Diddy of already trying to get in contact with some of the witnesses from jail so that he could reportedly make up narratives that would influence how he's seen by the public. The latest bail denial means that during the course of his trial, Diddy will stay put in his cell. The trial is set to officially begin in May 2025. But what do you guys think about all this? Do the conditions that Diddy is living sound like the right kind of punishment for him, given the crimes he's been accused of? Do you agree that there's a high chance that he would tamper with witnesses or try to escape the country if he were ever allowed bail? Let me know in the comments below.